My name is Lisa, and I've lived in the same apartment building for 3 years. It's an old building with creaky floors, thin walls, and a hallway that smells faintly of dust and something older, something like secrets. When I first moved in, I noticed my next-door neighbor, apartment 4B. I never saw him leave, not once. His blinds were always drawn, his door always shut, and yet, every night at exactly 3:00 a.m., I'd hear heavy footsteps. Not the kind you'd expect from someone packing in their own apartment. These sounded deliberate, slow, like someone dragging their feet across the wooden floor, back and forth, for hours. At first, I thought he worked from home, maybe night shifts, maybe just a recluse. But the curiosity ate at me. One day, I decided to introduce myself. I knocked on his door, holding a plate of cookies, the kind gesture you make when you're new. The footsteps stopped instantly. I waited, no answer. The next day, I tried again. Still nothing. I asked Mrs. Cartwright, the elderly lady 2 doors down, about him. Her expression changed instantly. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "That's Mr. Green. He's been here for years. Don't bother him, dear. It's better that way." Better that way? What did that even mean? Weeks passed. The footsteps continued. Always at 3 a.m., never earlier, never later. It was maddening. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I pressed my ear against the wall, listening. Thud, drags, thud, drag. Then, a sound I'd never heard before, whispering. It was faint, like someone speaking into the floorboards. I knocked on the wall. The whispering stopped instantly, but then I heard a knock back. 3 slow knocks. I froze. Something in me knew I shouldn't have done that. The next day, I decided to accidentally bump into him in the hallway. So I waited and waited. Hours passed, he never came out. I was starting to believe maybe he really never left. But then, one afternoon, as I was walking up the stairs, I saw his door slightly ajar. I shouldn't have, but I peeked inside. The apartment was wrong. The air inside felt heavier, colder, like I'd stepped into a basement instead of a living space. There was no furniture. No couch, no TV, no bed. Just a single wooden chair in the center of the room facing the wall. And sitting in that chair was a man. Or at least, something shaped like a man. His skin was pale, too pale. His hair hung in stringy clumps. And his eyes, they didn't blink. They just stared straight ahead at the wall. I whispered, "Mr. Green." He didn't move, didn't even flinch. Then, slowly, his lips began to move. I leaned closer to hear. He was whispering numbers. Over and over. But they weren't random, they were dates. The first one was today's date. The second, tomorrow. I realized with a chill that each date was followed by a name. And the name, he whispered, after tomorrow's date, was mine. My breath caught in my throat. The wooden floor creaked under my weight, and in that instant, his head snapped toward me. I didn't see him move. One moment he was staring at the wall. The next his face was inches from mine, eyes wide, lips still whispering my name. I ran. I don't remember locking my own door. I don't even remember breathing until I was in my bathroom, hands shaking. That night, I didn't sleep. At 3:00 a.m., the footsteps started again. But this time, they weren't in his apartment. They were right outside my door. And they didn't stop until sunrise. The next morning, apartment 4B's door was wide open. The chair was gone. The room was empty. The landlord swore no one had lived there for years. Said the apartment had been vacant since the last tenant. A man named Mr. Green died in 1979. I moved out that week. But sometimes, when I'm up late in my new place, I swear I can still hear those footsteps.